Greetings, fellow traders. Bubblehead here, and it's time for the Lunchtime Market Update for Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. Happy Fed Day, everybody. I hope everybody had a good morning so far. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Let's take a look at the SPX chart here. So we see that we're up. We're up 10 points today, so gap is filled. I don't think we've quite gotten to the closing gap yet, but we're getting really close to it. It's rejected it a little bit here, but it's forming a bit of a hammer here today. Again, today is Fed Day, so we're seeing a little bit of chop here intraday. We got a nice little buy the dip opportunity. It was getting a little bit scary this morning. We got a little buy the dip opportunity, and now we are heading into the Fed, which is going to be in about an hour, and then we have the press conference in about an hour and a half. And so we'll see how that goes. We'll see if it, what their perspective is on the coronavirus, to see if that has any, effects on the economy, how they deal with rates, and see if that ends up pushing the market up and we get ourselves back up to all-time highs, or if whatever comments they make end up being interpreted as bearish and we start to flush down. So it should be a very interesting one today. I think there's a lot of stuff going on where today's Fed may be a little bit more interesting than the last two that we've seen. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that right here. So we have our SPX price action today. So we're actually still below the 15 order. Look at this upper shadow here on the 15 order. My goodness, what a perfect opportunity for a short, right? Big upper shadow, almost a shooting star. 15 order breakdown right there for a huge move down. Nice move there. And then we held some support levels and worked our way back up. We couldn't quite get over the 15 order high, but we aren't really quite in the 15 order range right now. So we're just below that right now. So again, we might see some chop here into the Fed, and we'll see what kind of price action we see there. So good stuff there. So stuff that is interesting today, right? So we had some earnings today. So we have Apple up 8 points this morning, having trouble really getting any real breakout. Couldn't get over the aftermarket highs. You can see we got a couple upper shadows off there and back in the 15 order range. So Apple kind of chopping around a little bit, but it did set fresh all-time highs today. So that's an important aspect there for Apple to see how that holds through the Fed. Starbucks had a little bit rough news here. They shuttered about half their stores in China, which is like no joke. I mean, we're talking thousands of stores, right, that are shut down while this coronavirus is going around. So that definitely affected their outlook, and they were actually going to have, I believe, increased forecasts, but right now they're kind of muted because of all this. So we'll see how that goes. So that is for Starbucks. And then Boeing had earnings, actually had horrible earnings, but held up pretty well. It gapped up this morning, and now it's back in the 15 order range. So this is just a one they like to keep propped up. So it's continuing to do that right now. So we can see that on Boeing. So I have a couple chart requests out there. We have MDB. So MDB looking pretty interesting right here. So very strong here inside 15 over the 15 order high for a nice pop this morning. And we can take a look at the daily chart. Looking really strong here as it's looking to close over a lot of key levels here with some nice volume. So this is one that we'll be looking at the close today. LK. So a little red day so far in sympathy with Starbucks, right? So 15 orb down, but it is working on trying to stay back in that 15 orb range there today. So we'll see how that holds. UNH, I believe down a little bit on the ANTM results, or move ANTM. Let's take a look here. So ANTM had a bad earnings report today, so it's holding the 200-day moving average, and so UNH is kind of down with that this morning. So we'll keep an eye on that there. UAL, but it is holding the cloud on UNH. UAL. So this is I think the first one to come out was like Lufthansa said that they were canceling flights to China, and then American Airlines I think came out, and United Airlines is just looking really weak right here after this, after its gap down, and is still looking weak as well. So this is one to look at. I know they have a lot of flights into Beijing from the United States, so we'll see how that see how that holds. It's looking pretty bearish here too. So obviously the volume is not as big as the last couple days after earnings, but still an important candle today so far. Alcoa Corporation. So this was on our bearish radar of the game plan. If anybody check that out today, it's got some nice follow through the downside here as well. McDonald's, MCD. Pretty important day here for earnings with McDonald's. Lots of conversations about back and forth with this and beyond and things like that. So it's pretty interesting right here. It did have a nice move up. It finally got over its pre-market high and gave a little bit of a boost, but it's back in the 15 order range right here. Facebook. Earnings tonight. So that's going to be a pretty big deal right here. So it definitely hit fresh all-time highs today. It looks really strong. I really like this candle. I like the volume. If it closed bullishly on it, normally I'd look at it, but we have a binary event tonight, so we'll see how earnings go for Facebook. I'd like to see them beat and give a move up to keep the market boosted. Tesla, kind of a big deal too. It's got earnings tonight as well. Looks like it's in a bull flag right now. So again, last earnings they had their first profitable quarter ever. So now they've got some expectations to live up to, right? Because that came from all the way rate from below 300, like pretty much doubled, right, since the last earnings report. In fact, more than doubled. In one quarter. So, and it's up to like $600. So let's see how they did this quarter. It'll be pretty interesting. They might actually have some conversation about how the coronavirus is affecting their Shanghai plant, so the gigafactory out there. So, and then last but not least, we have Beyond. So Beyond Meat, just kind of struggling here. I mean, it's like they, think I don't know. There's rumors that were circulating that they've been removed from the menu in Canada on some of the McDonald's menus, things like that. So, but right now it's just kind of consolidating here. It's still in this pennant pattern, so we'll see how this holds. Again, very very interesting stuff here. It might just be consolidating with this big move up, and then we'll look for a close of these levels right here for another push if it can do it. So anyway, big stuff here, interesting stuff, and of course the big news here this afternoon is going to be the Fed. So everybody be cautious. May want to take your trades off before that, and then look for an entry unless you have some very very high conviction. But either way, remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. I'll talk to you guys soon.